Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, and of course the brown skin human coming back at you with another movie series review intro. My previous movie series review intro, whenever I uploaded to YouTube, for some odd reason, the newest, the Crush 40 upload of Sonic What I'm Made Of, their uploaded version for some odd reason has a copyright on it, and whenever I see, and the copyright is actually not a problem according to YouTube, but if I ever want to set this account up for monetization, it will be a problem. So I'm going to do a remade version using 2 non-copyrighted songs. Even though this is an intro for movie reviews and rants, the What I'm Made Of will from now on this channel will only be the outro, and I'll use one of the old school non-copyrighted uploads of Sonic What I'm Made Of. The intros will feature the Sonic Heroes theme, which I haven't used in a long time, and of course the iconic We Can that I use a lot now. Yeah. Everywhere on every other platform, the intros, I will use the old intro. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Hey everyone, it's time for my part 1 short narration review with pictures of the Justice League Dark animated duology franchise, part of the much larger Justice League animated, the Justice League
animated anthology, DC animated anthology series, which is called the DC animated movie universe, something like that. Well, for this one, I'm only going to focus on the Justice League Dark. I'm currently watching the other Justice League movies, so I can do narration and webcam review of the entire Justice League, DC animated anthology film series. But yeah, this is only Justice League Dark and its sequel, Dark Apocalypse, which I didn't even know they had a sequel. I saw Justice League. I like both movies, by the way, with much to my surprise, the first one, despite being a shorter film, the first one, in my opinion, is so far, the first one, in my opinion, is the better of the two, storyline wise, and more importantly, character usage. I can barely follow the story of Justice League Dark, even though it's only a 70 minute plus base movie. They managed to get a whole bunch of story and lore in just one short DC animated movie. Then you got the sequel, which is much larger in scope, having a longer 90-minute timeline and a much bigger and larger quote unquote storyline. But when it comes to storyline and more importantly justice to the characters, they are worse and they are inferior to the Justice League Dark, to the previous Justice League Dark film. I love this movie, but I had a whole lot of problems with this film, and this film was hard to follow. This film was even more hard to follow, not because of it was actually it was not only because it was complex, but because the film was just rushed. The film was quote unquote rushed. The film was rushed. Everything kept happening too fast. I had to watch a review and rant on the film and read the synopsis on Wikipedia to understand what was happening. And now I'm rewatching it again. For multiple other quote unquote reviews. But what you call it. So yeah, let's start off with the first one, Justice League Dark 2017. I saw this shortly after it released in February of that year. I saw it summer of 2017, and I've been a huge fan ever since. I didn't review it back then because I didn't understand much of it, and I felt and so I wanted to rewatch again, but I never took the time. Despite how much I love it, I never took the time to rewatch it. I was always doing something else when I wanted to rewatch this film, but I always wanted to take the time to quote unquote rewatch this film over and over again, rewatch this film over and over again. And I felt the rewatch it and try to understand it better for a review. Then I wanted to review it with the other movies that tie in with this. So that's why this took so long. But I saw it in 2017 and I loved it. I've been following up until 2016 and up until 2017 I had been following the Justice League Dark live action movie that was at first supposed to be directed by Hellboy director Guillermo del Toro, but I think he declined to do something else. Then he returned. I don't remember. It's been a while since. But I always wanted a Justice League Dark film. I wanted to see those characters: Deadman, Constantine, Spectre, Swamp Thing, Zoe, Zatanna, Cantana, DC's version of Frankenstein, the Swamp Thing, if I didn't say him already, Phantom Stranger, was Dr. Fate ever a member? I don't remember, but these guys are some of my all-time favorite These guys are some of my all-time. These guys are some of my all-time favorite superheroes. And it's cool to see them finally come together for finally come together as a team for a comic book. Now an animated film for quote unquote franchise. Cool to see these characters finally come together. And I checked daily. I wanted the Justice League Dark film. Finally in 2017, I got my wish. It's not a live action film, but it's better so far. It was at the time. It was better. It was better than anything the DCEU live action universe had ever produced. Yes, these DC animated films. Much to my surprise, these short DC animated films, they be blowing the live action films out of the water. I've been paying so much attention to the DC live action stuff that I keep forgetting about that I keep overlooking these underrated animated DC animated movie gems, quote unquote gems. But the Justice League Dark is the movie I wanted. I finally got my movie. Spectre unfortunately wasn't in this film, but Deadman was, and he had a quote unquote large role. And the other heroes, Constantine, Batman, Zatanna, Etrigan the Demon, another favorite Justice League Dark member, DC character, Etrigan the Demon. And who's after Etrigan? Etrigan and the rest of the Justice League. Superman, John Stewart, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman were quote unquote in this film, and Swamp Thing had a quote unquote cameo too. And the film was an exciting, scary and creepy adventure. The Justice League Dark is supposed to be an anti-hero version of the quote unquote Justice League. And now this film, obviously for the sake of adaptation and entertainment and spectacle, had to alter the story. But when it comes to these characters' personalities and the lore of Justice League Dark, DC, Constantine, Zatanna, Deadman, and Batman, they stay real close to the lore, and for the most part got it right. The ending scene where one of the main antagonists of the film, Richie, an old colleague and friend of Constantine, who betrayed him midway into the film. At the end, in order to keep the bad guy who was possessing Richie at bay, Richie was dragged to hell by a bunch of spirits for his quote unquote sins. And that happened in the comic books, except in the comic books there was a continuation where the demons dragged him to hell and trained him to become a quote unquote demon, quote unquote demon. That was scary. They didn't even try to help. Of course Constantine wouldn't, but the other ones, Batman and the rest didn't at least try to quote unquote help them. So yeah, they captured the creepy atmosphere of quote unquote Justice League. They captured the creepy of Justice League, the dark Justice League Dark. The Justice League Dark is a more anti-hero than the more honorable. I'm not going to say lighthearted, even though the early Justice League stories were. I'm not going to say lighthearted, but the much more honorable, good and noble Justice League, led by Superman and Batman. But story, action, animation is one of the best. Not only one of the best DC animated projects, but one of the best DC films of all time. I keep forgetting about the DC animated features when I be doing these favorite and best movie lists, but now from now on they'll be there, and they'll have a top spot too, because of how awesome this movie was. How awesome this movie was. The only problem I would have is that well, I guess since they already had Deadman, they didn't want to have Spectre, who has similar powers to Deadman, except he's just way more powerful. But I felt Spectre should have had a presence in this film. But the characters we got: Batman, Constantine, Zoe Zadana, not Zoe Zadana, but Zantana. Who's up for Zantana? Zantana, Batman. Oh no, Zantana. Who's up for Zantana? Oh yeah, Zantana, Deadman, my boy Deadman, Deadman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and my boy John Stewart's Green Lantern. I can't remember whether Flash and the other Justice League members were here too. I just remember those, quote unquote three. If I only have one criticism, is that, yeah, the people making this film, the people making these DC animated films, they are super biased Batman fanboys. Batman in this movie and in every other Justice League movie survived longer, performed, and fought better than any DC Justice League member, even members who are more quote-unquote powerful, who are more powerful and capable than him. Batman got the best of John Stewart with his ring, no, while he still had the ring, before he intelligently took off the quote-unquote took off the ring. Not going to talk much about the story in this video, because it's just way too long and complex. I'm going to talk about it in the webcam version, but yeah, one of the best around. And I'm surprised they got so much story and lore and complexity in just a short 70-minute plus animated movie. This blows the other live action Justice League out of the See, this and the sequel I'm about to talk about, these were memorable. The Justice League 2017 live action film is actually okay, but the biggest issue I had with the film was the film was forgettable. It felt like your run of the mill cookie cutter team up superhero movie. It didn't feel like a super legit Justice League movie. A Justice League movie should be the biggest and most epic thing, and it wasn't. When you compare it to its rivals, the Avengers Saga, the Avengers Anthology, those films, especially Infinity War, and even my opinion, the weaker Endgame, those were battles. Those were titanic battles. You will never forget. I still remember those awesome fights and battles. Justice League, every time I watch it, I enjoy it when I watch it, but I always forget about it when it's over, when it's quote unquote over. That's the issue I had with Justice League. This animated feature right here, animated feature and short animated duology, blows that Justice League out of water. This was everything Justice League should have been. So I'm finally happy DC made this. Now for the sequel. The sequel was bigger, badder, and much larger in scope when it came to storyline and stakes in comparison to this short 70-minute plus 2017 Justice League Dark film. However, this film right here was a little disappointing. I still like the film, still love the film with the climax being the best. But however, I felt this film, despite having 20 minute plus minutes longer than I think 13-minute plus longer minutes than Justice League 2017. this storyline was rushed. This storyline was rushed so much kept happening quickly that I couldn't follow it. I had to watch a review. Like I said, I had to watch a review and rant and read the synopsis to understand what was going on. And I'm currently rewatching the film again for a larger, more in-depth and more complex review. But yeah, everything happens too fast in the beginning. Batman, Superman, with the rest of the Justice League and the rest of the Legion of Doom are talking about a plan to stop Darkseid. Yeah, this film, Darkseid, his parademons, and Trigon. Are the quote unquote main antagonists in this quote unquote movie right here. It starts off with that. Then just according to the review I watched, just 8 minutes later, it flashes towards the future. All the surviving superheroes look different. All the surviving superheroes look like Superman, Wonder Woman, and them look different. Wonder Woman was a cyborg. Superman has been depowered, has no powers. Batman has been taken and enslaved by, and has been mind controlled and enslaved by Darkseid, and is now a minion of Darkseid. Now, all of the Justice League members, most of the Justice League members are dead. Cyborg got his arms and legs ripped off. Green Lantern dead. Martian Manhunter, who only made a short cameo in the beginning, dead. And Shazam, Cyborg helped him escape, and he was later hunted down and killed. And all these deaths were short, quick, and anticlimactic for such iconic quote-unquote characters. And like one guy in the comments said, the whole film was like, oh, look how violent and look how edgy, look how quote-unquote edgy we are. It was too much violence, and death. And once again, Batman survived, performed, and fought better than anyone. Once again, the massive Batman favoritism in these movies, where everyone else gets the shaft. However, the pros, once again, the storyline, animation, this was the culmination. This was the culmination of according to Wikipedia, a 5-story Justice League arc. Justice League arc, and probably the biggest I've ever seen of any Justice League quote unquote product, and see things I never saw and never thought in Justice League. I never thought there would be a time where Trigon, the villain from the Teen Titans cartoons and comics, Raven's father, there was a scene where one of my favorite, my favorite is the end, where he possessed Superman, and briefly you were cheering for him because he was opposing Darkseid, but it turns out neither was good. Both were evil. He wanted to fight and kill Darkseid out the way so he can rule the world of his own tyranny, and that was Darkseid too. Both wanted to quote unquote rule the world. So those two fight. Then Superman had his Super Saiyan moment where he regained his powers and regained his sanity and shoved Trigon out of his body and became the Superman and confronted Darkseid in the most awesome battle ever. It was quote-unquote heroic and epic. Then the way they defeated him, a Superman and Darkseid battle could go all day. A Superman and Darkseid battle could go all day. So what? So Batman, who later regained his senses, and Cyborg came together and created a giant portal and pushed both of them in it, and then Flash did another run, the Flashpoint storyline, and created a brand new quote unquote timeline. That was the best part of the film, and the storyline. The aftermath of this storyline continues in a short Constantine mini series, which I may watch in the future to see what happens next. But right now I'm here. And then what else about this awesome animated film? Other stuff. I love Robin, Damian Wayne's, Ravens, and Superman Clark Kent Superman, Clark Kent, and Constantine's story arcs in this film. They got a lot of screen time. They got a lot of screen time and quote unquote development. Other problems I had with this film. This is Justice League. Oh, this is Justice League Dark, but Deadman, Spectre were nowhere to be seen. And usually for a threat like Darkseid and Trigon, Spectre, he is the one you want. He is the one you want. I could probably see why they didn't have Deadman here. Other than being able to possess people, he would be powerless against Darkseid. Well, you could have had him to fight some of the parademons, some of the quote-unquote parademons. Next, once again, Etrigan the demon is finally killed off in this film, but at least he got a warrior's death at the hands of Wonder Woman, at the hands of a mind-controlled cyborg Wonder Woman. But yeah, he was killed. Zatanna, oh, her death. Oh, I hated her death. And then I hated this scene. Constantine, who his whole life has been vanquishing and sending demons to the underworld, slaying demons with his magic, ran from a demon and allowed Zatanna to be killed by a quote unquote demon, by a quote unquote demon. But like I said, the amount of short anticlimactic villains deaths where everyone was just getting it was just like Mortal Kombat. Everyone was just getting it was fatalities everywhere. But at least in Mortal Kombat, that was kind of the video games. That was kind of the video game style. You know, that didn't happen much in the actual story of Mortal Kombat either. But here, it was just fatalities. It was just fatalities around. It was just rushed to the point I couldn't even This film was rushed despite having 20 minutes more plus than the previous Justice League Dark film. That was less rushed. That was less rushed, and the pacing in that film was much better, despite that film being a much shorter movie than this one was. This one, quote unquote, was. And what else about this movie? Yeah, according to Wikipedia, this movie is based upon the New Gods quote unquote storyline, at least for the Darkseid character. But yeah, but just like Justice League Dark, this is everything the 2017 Justice League should have been, and still this animated duology blows the actual Justice League movies out of This was so awesome. I do hope to see a Justice League Dark movie someday. But man, what an awesome movie, and what an awesome way to conclude this era of the DC animated universe. Gonna definitely review these again as part of a larger anthology with the other ones. But this is the short narration version. To see my longer sequel webcam version where I talk more about the storyline, click the links in the description box below. Alright, I'm finished for now. You don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.